Early one bright morning, a young hedgehog named Niko hurried across the green valley with a big idea burning in his heart. "I'm going to build the safest and warmest shelter before the cold season arrives," he said proudly. "Everyone will see that I am the most prepared animal in the valley." Niko did not whisper his plan. He said it loudly with excitement to anyone who passed by. The deer heard him. The sparrows heard him. The fox, sleeping under a bush, opened one eye and heard him too. Everywhere Niko went, he repeated the same words. "I have a huge plan. I know exactly where I'll build it. I'll collect soft leaves, dry grass, berries, and roots. This cold season will be easy for me." The animals smiled and praised him. "That sounds amazing, Niko. You are very smart. What a great idea." Niko enjoyed every compliment. The more they admired him, the more he talked. Instead of gathering materials, he spent long afternoons describing how strong his shelter would be. Instead of searching for food, he explained how much food he was going to store. He had not built much yet, but in his mind he already felt successful. Each word made the dream feel real, even though his paws had done very little work. Every morning, Niko had a new announcement. "I found the perfect place near the old pine tree. I will make the walls thick. I will store enough food to last until the flowers return." The animals listened, nodded, and congratulated him again. Niko smiled wider each time. He loved the feeling of being seen as someone important. One afternoon, Niko met an old owl sitting quietly on a low branch near the river. The owl watched him carefully as Niko explained every detail of his future shelter. When Niko finally stopped talking, the owl asked, "Is your shelter finished?" Niko blinked. "Not yet." "Have you collected your winter food?" "Some of it," Niko said, looking away. "Then why do you speak as if the work is already done?" Niko laughed a little. "I'm just sharing my plan. It helps me feel motivated." The old owl turned his head slowly. "Sometimes speaking about a dream gives the heart a reward before the hands have earned it," he said. Niko did not like that answer. He thought the owl was being too serious, so he thanked him politely and ran back into the valley. The next day, he told even more animals about his plans. But soon, something began to happen. Whenever Niko mentioned a place full of dry grass, other animals reached it before him. Whenever he spoke about a bush with berries, the berries were gone the next morning. Whenever he described a pile of strong twigs near the river, someone else carried them away first. Niko did not understand. He kept talking, and without knowing it, he kept giving away everything he needed. A clever fox had started listening closely. The fox did not work hard to search for things himself. He simply waited for Niko to speak. When Niko said, "I found soft leaves near the stones," the fox went there first. When Niko said, "There are roots behind the hill," the fox visited the hill before sunset. Niko's loose words became a map for others. Weeks went by. The air became colder. The wind began to bite. One evening, Niko looked at his unfinished shelter. The walls were thin. The floor was empty. His food pile was small. For the first time, fear entered his heart. "How did this happen?" he whispered. "I had such a good plan." But when he looked honestly at his days, he saw the truth. He had spent more time talking about the work than doing it. He had spoken about building. He had spoken about storing. He had spoken about preparing. But speaking had not made the shelter warmer. Speaking had not filled the food pile. Speaking had not protected him from the cold. That night, Niko sat beside the river in silence. The old owl landed nearby. "You look troubled," said the owl. Niko lowered his head. "I thought my plan was strong." The owl nodded. "A plan can point the way," he said, "but only action can carry you there." Niko was quiet. "I thought telling everyone would push me forward." "It can sometimes," replied the owl, "but many creatures begin to enjoy the praise more than the progress. They feel proud too early and then their effort becomes weak." Niko did not answer. Deep inside, he knew the owl was right. The next morning, Niko made a decision. No more announcements, no more speeches about what he would do, no more explaining every step before taking it. From that day on, when animals asked, "What are you planning now?" Niko simply smiled. "I'm busy preparing," he said. Nothing more. Then he walked away and worked. He woke before sunrise. He collected dry leaves while the valley was still quiet. He carried twigs one by one. He dug a deeper space beneath his shelter. He searched for berries, seeds, and roots without telling anyone where he had found them. He repaired the walls. He made the entrance small and warm. He worked when others were watching. He worked when no one noticed. Something changed inside him. Without talking so much, he had more energy. Without trying to impress others, he stayed focused. Without waiting for compliments, he became more disciplined. Day by day, the shelter grew stronger. Piece by piece, the food pile grew higher. Niko no longer felt successful because animals praised him. He felt peaceful because he knew he was doing the work. The fox became curious. Niko was no longer telling everyone where the best materials were. He no longer described his daily progress. He no longer gave away his next move. The fox tried to follow him one morning, but Niko took a quiet path through the tall grass. Another day, the fox waited near the river, but Niko never came. The fox became annoyed. For weeks, he had lived from Niko's careless words. Now there was nothing to take. At last, the cold season arrived. Frost covered the ground. The trees stood bare. Food became hard to find. Some animals had prepared well. Others had only spoken about preparing. One freezing morning, the deer passed by Niko's shelter and stopped in surprise. The shelter was strong, warm, and hidden from the wind. Inside, Niko had dry bedding, stored food, and everything he needed. "How did you finish all of this?" asked the deer. Niko smiled gently. "I stopped performing and started preparing." Soon, many animals heard about Niko's shelter. They came to ask for his secret. This time, Niko did not boast. He simply shared what he had learned. A young rabbit asked, "Should we never talk about our goals?" Niko shook his head. "Not exactly. Some people can guide you, support you, or keep you accountable, but telling everyone too early can become dangerous." "What danger?" asked the rabbit. Niko looked at the quiet valley. "You may begin to enjoy the attention more than the effort." The animals became silent. Niko continued, "A dream is like a small fire in the wind. If you protect it, feed it, and stay close to it, it grows stronger. But if you keep showing it to everyone before it is ready, the wind may put it out." The old owl, watching from a branch, smiled proudly. From that winter on, the valley slowly changed. Some animals stopped talking about becoming faster and started training. Some stopped talking about learning and started practicing. Some stopped talking about building and started building. There were fewer loud promises and more quiet efforts. Near the end of the cold season, Niko saw the fox again. The fox looked at him and said, "You are different now." Niko nodded. "Yes, I am." "You used to tell everyone everything." "I know." "What changed?" Niko looked at his strong shelter, then at the valley beyond it. "I learned that promises can make noise, but results create respect." The fox had nothing to say, and from that day forward, Niko remembered the lesson clearly. Do not announce every dream before it has roots. Do not spend all your energy explaining what you will do. Do not mistake attention for achievement. Work quietly. Stay consistent. Protect your goals. And when the time is right, let your results speak for you. Because real success does not need to be shouted before it is built. It only needs to be earned. My lesson from this story is simple. Many people lose power by talking too much about their future. They describe their dreams, their plans, and their success before they have taken enough action. A plan is useful, but action is what changes your life. The less you chase approval, the more focused you become. The less you explain, the more energy you keep for the work. So, move in silence, stay patient, and let your progress introduce you. If this story gave you value, remember to support the channel and keep choosing action over empty words. Thank you for watching, and I wish you wisdom, discipline, and success on your journey. See you in the next story. Goodbye and take care.